In a move that has both intrigued and divided fans, BTS's J-Hope took on the emotionally charged solo track, The Astronaut, originally performed by fellow member Jin. This unexpected rendition, showcased during the 2025 BTS Festa, has sparked a flurry of reactions across the ARMY community. While some applaud J-Hope's versatility and heartfelt delivery, others question whether he can truly encapsulate the depth and sentiment that Jin brought to the song. Jin's The Astronaut, co-written with Coldplay and released in October 2022, was a poignant farewell to fans before his military enlistment. The song's lyrics and Jin's emotive vocals resonated deeply, making it a beloved piece among ARMYs worldwide. His live performances, including a notable appearance with Coldplay in Argentina, further cemented the song's significance. J-Hope's decision to reinterpret The Astronaut came as part of the concept switchover during the 2025 BTS Festa, where members swapped solo concepts. Taking on a track so intimately associated with Jin was a bold move, and reactions have been mixed. Some fans appreciate the fresh perspective and J-Hope's unique artistic flair, while others feel the original's emotional gravity is hard to replicate. Critics and fans alike have noted J-Hope's growth as an artist, especially following his solo endeavors like the album, Jack in the Box, and his US arena tour. His ability to convey emotion through performance has evolved, suggesting that his rendition of The Astronaut is not merely an imitation but a heartfelt. The 2025 BTS Festa, marking the group's 12th anniversary, has been a celebration of their journey and evolution. Events like the two-day fan gathering at Kintex 2 in Goyang SI have offered fans immersive experiences and a chance to reconnect with the members. J-Hope's performance of The Astronaut stands as a testament to BTS's enduring bond and their willingness to explore and reinterpret their artistry. As the ARMY community continues to discuss and dissect this performance, one thing is clear: BTS's commitment to pushing boundaries and expressing themselves remains unwavering. Whether J-Hope's rendition of The Astronaut matches the original's emotional depth is subjective, but it undeniably adds a new layer to the song's legacy. And the ever-evolving narrative of BTS. Moments like these highlight the group's dynamic nature and their dedication to connecting with fans through music. J-Hope's take on The Astronaut may differ from Jin's, but it opens the door to fresh interpretations and continued appreciation for the artistry that defines BTS. As the echoes of The Astronaut continue to ripple through the hearts of fans around the world, one thing remains undeniable: Jin's emotional footprint on this track is nearly untouchable. The lingering question isn't just whether someone else can perform the song, but whether anyone else can live it the way Jin did. Every line he sang, every breath he took while delivering it, carried a personal weight that made the track feel less like a song and more like a diary entry sealed in stardust. When Jin first stood on that grand stage with Coldplay, singing about cosmic distance and earthly devotion, he wasn't just performing. He was bearing his soul. His trembling voice, the tight yet brave smiles, the quiet pauses where his emotions threatened to overwhelm him, those were the things that made The Astronaut unforgettable. For millions, that wasn't just Jin singing. That was Seokjin saying goodbye, not knowing what the next chapter in his life would bring. That authenticity left a scar, beautiful and permanent, on the hearts of ARMYs. Jin didn't just write or sing The Astronaut. He was the astronaut. A man caught between the world of global stardom and the quiet longing for normalcy, for connection, for home. And that duality resonated deeply with listeners. Because in some way, we're all astronauts, floating in a universe of chaos, hoping to find an anchor in someone or something that feels like home. Jin made himself the mirror for all of us, and that's something that simply can't be mimicked. So, when J-Hope, beloved in his own right, dared to take on that sacred song, the emotional territory was already treacherous. This wasn't just a track. This was a legacy. And while J-Hope brought his own warmth, his own grace, and his own gentleness to the performance, comparisons were inevitable. Could he evoke the same tidal wave of emotion that Jin had ignited? Could he turn tears into galaxies the way Jin had done with just a note? Fans were divided. Some saw it as a loving tribute, an offering from one brother to another, a gesture of solidarity and respect. Others felt a pang of discomfort, unable to reconcile the stark difference in tone, texture, and emotional resonance. J-Hope's version was tender, beautiful even, but was it the same? The question, however, may not lie in whether it was better or worse, but whether it should have been attempted at all. For some, the performance stirred feelings of betrayal, like watching someone else try to wear a suit tailored for another man. For others, it was moving in its own right, precisely because it wasn't trying to replace Jin's voice but to echo it. To say, "We remember you. We honor you. We hold your story close." And yet, no matter how heartfelt J-Hope's intentions were, Jin's absence in his own song cast a long shadow. There was a stillness missing, a melancholic thread that Jin weaved into the track from the moment he first penned it. The way Jin held certain words just a second longer, the quiet ache beneath his smiles, the soft but crushing vulnerability in the bridge, all of these were the intangible elements that gave the song its soul. Even now, with Jin fully discharged from military service and returning to music, fans look to him not just as a vocalist, but as an emotional compass. His every expression is dissected, his every note a coded message. That's the weight of the astronaut. That's the legacy Jin carries. Not just as an idol, but as a storyteller of human fragility. In the aftermath of J-Hope's performance, social media exploded. Is he even allowed to touch that song? I cried, but not in the same way. It's beautiful, but Jin owns that galaxy. The comment sections became battlegrounds of emotion, admiration, and doubt. Some defended J-Hope passionately, while others mourned what they saw as a dilution of something deeply personal. But perhaps the most haunting question wasn't about J-Hope at all. It was about Jin. What must it have felt like? Watching someone else cradle his most personal creation? Was there pride in his eyes, or a quiet ache in his chest? Did he see it as a gift being passed on, or as a memory being rewritten? Did he smile behind the scenes, or did he quietly walk away, leaving others to sing what once was only his? There's a reason The Astronaut remains one of the most emotionally complex solo releases in BTS's discography. It's not just about longing, it is longing. It's not just about space, it is space. And it's not just about love. It's about the kind of love that transcends time, language, and even silence. Can J-Hope, or anyone else for that matter, truly replicate the emotional gravity of The Astronaut? The answer may very well be no, not because J-Hope lacks skill or heart, but because some songs aren't just music, they're memoirs. They are carved from the marrow of the person who wrote them, shaped by the shadows they walked through, and soaked in the tears they never showed. That's what The Astronaut was for Jin, and perhaps that's what makes it eternal. As Jin steps back into the limelight, now free from military obligation, all eyes are on him. Will he sing The Astronaut again, reclaiming what many see as his most sacred work? Will he embrace J-Hope's tribute, or will he offer his own renewed version, one reshaped by time and distance? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, when Jin sings, the world listens. Not just with their ears, but with their hearts. And that is something no one else, not even a fellow star, can replicate. And as the days move forward, anticipation builds, not just for new music from Jin, but for something far more delicate and profound, the emotional closure only he can provide. The echoes of The Astronaut haven't faded. They've simply been waiting for him. The fans, the industry, even his fellow members. Everyone knows that when Jin steps forward to sing it again, it won't be just a performance. It will be a return. Not just to the stage, but to a version of himself that was paused, held in stasis during his military service. The man who once sent his heart across galaxies is now back on Earth, grounded, matured, transformed, but still holding that starlight within him. Whispers have already begun. Will Jin sing The Astronaut during BTS Festa 2025? Will he address the emotional whirlwind that J-Hope's version stirred? Or will he remain silent, allowing the silence to speak volumes? Behind every hopeful question, there is an undercurrent of fear that the song will never sound the same again. That Jin, forever changed by time, experience, and distance, will approach it with a new voice, a new emotion. But perhaps that is what makes this moment so powerful. Not that we are about to hear The Astronaut again, but that we are about to hear it anew. Reborn in a way, J-Hope's performance may have reignited something that had dimmed. Not a rivalry, but a reflection. By stepping into the constellation Jin created, J-Hope unintentionally reminded the world just how bright Jin's light was, and still is. And if this was a reminder, then what comes next will be a revelation. Imagine it. The lights dim, the stage quiet, the opening notes rise like breath on a cold night. And there he is, Jin. No fireworks, no elaborate choreography. Just him, a mic, and the weight of every memory that The Astronaut carries. And in that name, Jin, lies not just the identity of a global superstar, but the essence of BTS's quiet strength. While others may command with performance or dazzle with complexity, Jin leads through stillness, through sincerity, through emotional clarity. His artistry doesn't chase the spotlight, it calibrates it, grounding it in human truth. IT is this truth that fans are now longing to hear again. J-Hope's rendition of The Astronaut was a moment of artistic bravery, no doubt. But it opened an emotional fault line. Not out of disrespect, but because it brought to the surface a reality fans had tucked away for too long. They missed Jin. Not just his face, not just his banter, but his voice. His ability to inhabit a song as though he were living inside each lyric. When Jin sings, he doesn't simply convey a message. He invites you into IT. So what happens when he reclaims the astronaut? Will the pain return? Will the comfort deepen? Will the memory of that 2022 Coldplay concert, his last performance before enlistment, flood back in vivid color? And more importantly, will he be ready to revisit that part of himself? There are rumors, naturally. That big hit has scheduled a surprise for Festa's final night. That Jin is planning a stripped-down stage. That the mic he'll use is the same one from his Coldplay collaboration, quietly preserved, kept waiting. Even the possibility sends fans into emotional overdrive, because this wouldn't just be music. This would be resolution. A cosmic loop finally closing. J-Hope, to his credit, has said nothing further. No explanations, no defenses. Just a simple post after the performance. Hyung, this was for you. That single line, quietly uploaded, speaks volumes. There is no rivalry here. No competition. Just reverence. But even reverence has consequences, because now the entire fandom is staring into the night sky, wondering, will the original astronaut come back to guide us? They remember how Jin used the metaphor of space to express isolation, love, and longing. They remember the vulnerability of his lyrics. They remember his trembling voice in Argentina, beside Chris Martin, barely holding back tears. And above all, they remember how real it felt. That level of emotional precision isn't easily replicated. J-Hope may have sung the song, but Jin lived it, which is why no matter how good the performance was, no matter how sincere the delivery, many fans were left with one persistent, unshakable thought. This isn't his story, but it was Jin's, and Jin's return, whether it comes on the Festa stage, on a live stream, or in a late-night surprise drop, won't just be anticipated. It will be necessary, because some songs don't belong to the charts. They belong to the heart. And the heart still beats for that astronaut who left Earth in 2022 and who, finally, seems ready to come home. Behind closed doors, insiders claim he's been rehearsing, alone, carefully, with the same deliberate emotion that shaped his earlier work. He isn't rushing. He isn't chasing virality. Jin never needed hype. He is the moment, and when he reclaims his song, the silence between now and then will make sense, that we will realize that the astronaut was never meant to be a farewell. It was a celestial bookmark, a promise in melody. And now, that promise is on the brink of being fulfilled. Will he sing it the same way? Will his voice crack again on that final chorus? Or will it be stronger, fuller, refined by time and quiet reflection? No one knows. That uncertainty is part of the magic. Because Jin has always walked a different path, one where artistry and authenticity are inseparable. His recent appearances, subtle but powerful, suggest readiness. He's no longer the soldier returning home. He's the artist returning to the story he left unfinished. And when that moment comes, perhaps beneath the Kintex Arena lights, perhaps via a live stream that crashes Weverse within seconds, everything will fall still. One man, one song, one history rewritten in real time. And in that space, between memory and performance, Jin will once again do what only he can, remind us why we ever believed in the first place. Because when he opens his mouth to sing, it won't just be sound. IT will be gravity. It will be truth that IT will be home, and just maybe, that's what we've all been waiting for.